What is going on, Sky Squad? We are back in the building and we got to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 15, episode, what is this? Episode 15 is called Sip and Spill the Tea. So if I'm looking over here, it's because I'm looking at my laptop making notes and I'm actually recording on my phone. So y'all just got to work with me because, listen, I'm on vacation and I'm just barely hanging on right now because I've had copious amounts of drinkerization today down here to the New Orleans. Before I even get into the video, let me just let you guys know that my first day here in New Orleans, I actually met up with Bondi. And for those of you guys who don't know Bondi Blue, if you've been living under a rock, she is probably one of my favorite people that I have ever met, honestly. And I say this from the place of having sat down with her and we're talking for hours. I, first of all, did not intend to hold up her day at all because I knew she had things to do, but she spent just time and we just were able to pour into each other. And let me tell you something, I'm so proud of her and I'm so proud of her ability to speak so authentically and I value her. Let me tell you something, you ever met somebody and y'all talk and you just felt like you were on a whole nother planet? I felt like we were in a whole nother universe. That's my girl at this point. That's my girl. That's my girl. That's all I can say. So I was super excited about that. And this entire trip, honestly, to New Orleans has been magical. I've never been here before. So for me, it has been life-changing. Let me say that. It's probably one of my new favorite places to come visit. The culture, the food, the way people talk is so sexy. Oh my God. So listen, I'm doing this review. It is Sunday night when I'm doing it, and I'm down here with my family, so we're gonna be going out a little bit later. So I wanted to get this review done. By the time you see this, it'll be Monday, but I'm just letting you know the vibe that I'm on right now. Mind you, it's Sunday fun day, so I've been drinking all day. So we're gonna try to do this review how best we can, but if I stumble a little bit along the way, you guys understand that, your boy had a couple of libations, and I don't really drink like that much anymore, but I have drank while I've been here, okay? I ain't proud of it, but I ain't mad at it, all right? So anyway, let's get into this Ponderosa. This actually was a surprisingly good episode to me. I didn't really know what to expect from this episode because I really didn't feel like the previews gave as much away as I really kind of thought that it would. So I'm going to give this episode probably a 9.5 for me. I can't give it a 10 because I felt like I was watching for a very long time. So I don't know if this episode was an hour and 15 minutes or because I had to actually start it over because I was watching my YouTube TV and I'm in a different time zone that I'm normally in. So I don't really know what was going on, but it did feel a little bit long to me. But we did get some interesting reveals that I felt like were, like I said, interesting. So let's get into it now that I've rated it. And if you are watching this video, please let me know where you would rate this this episode in the chatterization down below. All right. So we see Cynthia and Kenya talk a little bit about Cynthia's divorce, but we really don't know anything about it. I mean, we just know that she's divorced. That's it. And I feel like if you're going to be back on this show, Cynthia, in any type of friend capacity, and this goes to the producers as well, I feel like you guys need to do your due diligence and make her talk about whatever happened in that divorce. And I know she may have some agreement that she can't talk about it, but I kind of feel like, why even broach the topic if you're not really going to get into it? That's how I feel. This is reality TV, babe. We want the tea. And if you're not going to give us the tea, what are you here for? I mean, yes, Cynthia Bailey, what else is going on, looks amazing and fabulous. We've always known that. But if you're not going to be providing content, come on, that's a waste of a confessional if you ask me. I mean, she looked great in it, don't get me wrong, and I want Cynthia to win, so I want her to have all the checks and abundance that she could possibly get. But if you're not going to give us the tea, baby, what are you doing here? What are we even doing? You know what I mean? So that kind of irks me a little bit. They're shooting this movie, The Past, with, Drew Sidora in 10 days. They're doing a lot of it in Candy's home so they can save on some coin. And I don't blame them, because you got to work with what you got until you get to where you want to be. Sonya is at Dr. Jackie's office, and we learned that this is a geriatric pregnancy, according to Dr. Jackie. So that means that, that the woman is over 35. So I don't know much about this, but what I do know is I always wonder, all the people seem to go to Dr. Jackie. And this is not a diss to Dr. Simone because I don't know what she specializes in. But I always wonder, is there a reason why we always see the women going to Dr. Jackie and we never see them going to Dr. Simone? Is it that, because it could just be that Dr. Simone isn't really clued into the celebrity clientele in that same way, and she more specifically has her own clientele, and I'm sure she's just equally as successful. But in my mind, I'll just be wondering, we always see Dr. Jackie on all these other shows, but we never see Dr. Simone. And I'm like, well, why is that? And my other question is, do y'all think that Dr. Simone be feeling some type of way about that? Because in my mind, I would have to imagine that it would be a little bit of a why ain't none of these ladies coming to me? But then again, I mean, it is what it is. Maybe she just don't work with celebrity clients. So I don't know. Monyetta stops by Candy's house. They're on the set of the movie. Drew has reservations about her first intimate scene with a woman because, as Drew has stated before, she has never kissed a woman. But they do have an intimacy coach on staff. Drew gave Ralph a summarization of some sort, but he really doesn't know much about what her role is, but that's okay because she doesn't really know what he does either, so it's fine. They get to talking about Cousin Courtney, and Monyetta shows Drew the recording of Cousin Courtney calling Cousin Drew a B.I., okay? And by B.I., I mean B-I-T-C-H, okay? Candy isn't sure if she was talking about Drew or Sonya, but Courtney says she doesn't even use that language, but we know that the footage shows that, girl, yes, you do. Okay? Sheree is planning a sip and see. There's no budget. And there's that, okay? Back on set, it's the intimate scene with Drew and the girl. We learned that Drew is not attracted to the woman, okay? But, she just has to channel her sense of taste and touch and smell. All of those good things. Ooh, don't mind me. Anyway, Marlo is having a foster care Fridays event honoring successful people who have made it out of the foster care system. Sanya and Courtney arrives. Sheree is at a tasting for her own event, and Marlo feels a type of way. Scottley does show up, and Sheree finally eventually does show up as well. To me, Marlo's upset about Sheree not showing made me kind of wonder if it was more about, dang it, is this scene going to air given that it's only Sanya and Courtney showed up? I need my scene to air, so I need Sheree here. Because, I just feel like they're trying to make Sheree this centerpiece this season for whatever reason. And I don't know if you guys feel like it's working or not. I'm on the fence about it, but we'll see how it goes. Well, I think we're seeing how it's going. I don't know if it's working. I just don't know if Sheree is that centerpiece type of girl. You know what I'm saying? And there's no shade to Sheree. I just don't ever feel like she's been that centerpiece type of girl. Because I feel like the network has never treated her like that centerpiece type of girl. You know what I'm saying? Sheree is a good ensemble player to me. I get that. I get her value. I'm not trying to devalue this woman in her place on the show, especially as she has a legacy as an OG. But what I'm saying is, I don't know if she has the, as Nene said, she's got the I, but I don't know if she got the T. Let me know if y'all think, does Sheree have the T, baby? The T to stand in the middle, okay, of these peaches to gather these girls together, because I don't know. Anyway, for Sheree's party, Sonya shows up early. Marlo, we learn, won't make it because she has a funeral. And the party is, for the plates alone are more than $200 per plate. Oh, yes. Meanwhile, we go back to the set of The Past, which is crazy to me. So back to the film in the movie. Drew says to me, and she says this, and I was like, girl, like you, this to me, if it were me and I heard this, it would be a slap in my face. She says, I don't want to keep doing stuff like this. If it's not Lifetime, then she's above doing it. And I was thinking to myself, it's so funny to me because if you were that girl, if you were that actress, I definitely don't think that you would just be, there's nothing wrong with the Real Housewives of Atlanta because being on the Real Housewives of Atlanta should be a privilege. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like if you was that acting girl, then you definitely wouldn't be on a reality TV show. You would be acting in those Lifetime movies only, okay? So, I mean, for the sake of, continuing working, I feel like you should be counting your blessings that they have actually, and they were giving Drew all these praises. But the fact of the matter is she's got to film scenes in Candy's bed. So maybe that's a reason why she doesn't feel so good about that, because it seems like Candy doesn't even feel really good about that, because I don't know that I would feel good about having to film. I mean, I don't know. Candy's bed obviously has got some type of magic gold pot of gold in it or whatever like that, because they be talking, the way they try to put people in her bed, it be Candy's bed must be dripping in gold. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, with the way Candy have luck and the way Candy is able to do what she do, maybe Drew needed to be in that bed, okay? Maybe that's the bed that Drew need to be sleeping in, okay? Because definitely sleeping in that bed with Ralph is not helping her at all, okay? It ain't helping her. It ain't working for her. It ain't working for him. So maybe a new bed is where she need to be. Candy's bed seemed like the bed that's popping and pop locking and dropping based on the bedroom Candy and the things that because Candy real open about those things that go on in the bedroom. So maybe that bed is where Drew need to be, okay? Maybe that's where we all need to be. It laid up in Candy's bed so we can all have that same level of good fortune. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Mind you, I have been drinking, so please take nothing to what I'm saying to heart today. Okay, people? Okay? So anyway, Ralph stops by to see her, and did he joke about her not being able to fit at the table, or was he talking about the dude? I really wasn't quite clear on that, and I couldn't hit the rewind on my YouTube TV. Y'all need to fix that. But anyway, I was like, I don't really know if I like that he said that. Because I'm like, are you trying to come at dropping with Drew? Anyway, Drew says the character is so true to life. The character's a wife. She's submissive. And Ralph is like, she's a lesbian. Oh, but he's got questions. Did you kiss her? Did you give her some tongue? And she says it's work, and the character is seducing, Drew's character. And Ralph really seems into it, and wants to watch the girl, do nasty things to her. And Drew feel like, he don't really respect what I do. And Ralph says, well, she was munching. And I thought to myself, it's so ironic that was the same song title that Mimi used when she posted that post about Drew and Ty. The song is called Munch by Ice Spice. And I just thought, that was Chef's kiss right there, okay? Anyway, apparently this is the first scene that he's ever even asked her about in terms of this movie. Candy arrives at the party, followed by Cynthia. Drew apparently had to do some intimate. That's when we learned that Drew had to do some intimate scenes in Candy's bed. Y'all know how I feel about that right now at this point. Bob arrives looking crazy. Is it me, or maybe because I'm slightly tipsy? But is it me, or does Bob walk like this? I feel like every time Bob walk, he be like SpongeBob walking, I feel like he be bobbling, like wobbly, drop it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it just be giving some type of wobbly, drop it like it's hot, And I just be like, is he gonna tip over? Like, somebody check on Bob. Anyway, maybe that's just how he walk. I don't know. But again, trust me not. Courtney arrives. Sheree is not coming out until all the folks get there. Shamia arrives, Manetta, Kenya, Akila. And apparently we learned that Courtney and Shamia knew each other. Well, if Shamia had bothered to show on up over there in the introduction with Candy and Courtney, maybe that whole situation wouldn't have blew up the way that it did. So I blame you, Shamia, for not being around. Sheree finally emerges just in time to take photos with Bobble and Bob, and he is trying to fill up on her as Martell strolls up. But it's okay because Martell can barely be bothered to give her a kiss or anything like that. Oh no, just a little hug for his bae. And I'm like, I wish that y'all had taken some intimacy coaching from the candy person that is coaching Drew up in Candy's bed, because y'all could use an intimacy coach. You, Sheree and Bob had more touchy-feely moments than Martell and Sheree did. What's wrong with this photo? What's wrong with this picture? You got this man coming up in here dressed in pink like the family, but he can't even give you a kiss on the lips. Girl, like, if y'all gonna try to sell this to me, sell it to me. But y'all ain't even, Sheree, you can't even be bothered with that. I don't understand it. That don't make no sense to me. Cause I'm telling you, I'm like, if you with me and we see each other, when we greet each other, we got to greet each other with a kiss. I'm sorry. That's just how I roll. This is how I think. Like it ain't making no sense to me. Anyway, Drew rolls up and calls Candy. She's not coming in because there's a man there that assaulted her. Oh yes. Apparently it was Anthony, the assistant in the library with the candlestick. No, that wasn't really the case. Apparently, it was at the club. Yes, Drew lets us know that at the club, she was dancing in the VIP. She had took off her Louboutins or whatever, and Anthony had, reached down, saw her, and chucked the shoe at her. Oh, yes. And so at that point, the police were involved. Oh, and it's so interesting to me. I've never heard of this story before. Have any of y'all? Is it in any of the Atlanta blogs or on the Atlanta News, Atlanta Journal, and Constitution? Was it written up in it? I've heard nothing about this incident, about a shoe throwing thing and police being involved. That's so fascinating to me. Anyway, so Candy gonna tell Sheree that Drew can't come in, and Sheree finally makes her grand entrance, followed by her her man. She invites them upstairs, the girls upstairs, to do a reveal. So the producer asks, well, girl, why is Anthony at this party? Apparently, we learned that Anthony introduced Sheree to Martell because Martell wanted to meet Sheree. I guess he also wanted to meet Kenya. But my question is, well, how does Anthony know Martell? It's just like, how does people know each other like that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess Anthony is the man down to the Atlanta and know the people. I mean, I guess that's what it is. So anyway, Anthony overhears Candy telling Sheree why Drew wasn't coming inside. And he says that he has issues with Drew because she owes him a coin. And also because of her doing something to Ralph and something else and something else and such and so forth. Okay. So Candy confronts him about throwing the shoe at Drew. And then he says, well, he threw his shoe because she threw her purse. So in my mind, I'm like, now Drew told a different story. Drew said it was her Louboutin. He's saying it's his Louboutin. And then he's saying that she threw the purse first. Who is telling the truth? Your resident Sherlock homeboy, honestly cannot tell you who threw what, because I don't know. I've never heard this story before. It's never, like I said, it's no one. I've heard nobody on TikTok talking about it. I've heard nobody it's never been on the Neighborhood Talk. It's never been on the Jasmine brand, the Shade Room. It's on site, Hollywood Unlocked. I just haven't seen it in CNN. It's just not been to Watch What Happens Live. It ain't been on the Carlos King podcast. It ain't been on Speak on It. It ain't been, I mean, what else is out there? It ain't been on The View. It ain't been on nothing, okay? Not heard hide nor hair of this story for me, okay? For me. Anyway, so Kenya then wants to talk to Martell, who's like, And so Sheree ends up staying to mediate this conversation. And Kenya says she felt the way because she didn't have a man with her when they first had their little argumentation, right? And so Sheree says in her confession, well, she ain't never got no man, okay? And Martell says, well, I apologize but do you feel like you was wrong in any way? And she says, well, no, I apologize if I hurt you, but I didn't curse at you. And I'm like, girl, the flashback shows that you did sure enough curse at him. So you might want to, I mean, we're gonna talk about a little truth. You gotta tell a little truth too. So anyway, they take some family photos and everybody's talking about this young girl with Bob. Who is this young girl with Bob named Candace? And then, the question is for Bob, we learned that Bob, wobbly, drop it like it's Bob, got a daughter, okay, who Sheree never even knew. Sheree is meeting, it is a baby reveal at the baby reveal, okay? Candace, the baby, who is 20-something years old, is being introduced to Sheree for the first time. Mind you, Candace, the girl, aka the daughter of Bob the Builder, has been around the family multiple times. We know this because the girls have been questioning Bob because Bob waddles over and they get to talking about her and asking all the questions, and it's found out that the girl had been around and Bob don't even know how old she is. And I'm just kind of thinking to myself, well, I mean, wobbly, drop it like it's Bob. So next week is the finale, and I guess we'll just see what happens there. But let me know what y'all think about this episode. That's all I can give y'all for right now, because again, it's time for me to go turn up. I done dropped my laptop, and now I got to go.